by the volatility, right?
Yeah.
Less volatility. Question from somebody from Evernote. This has been recorded onto the internet, the cloud, as he speaks, through his glasses.
Just curious.
Google Glass, right?
Yeah, right. What are the ramifications for the developing world in the adoption of digital currencies?
So that's another very interesting part. So with the first world markets or first world countries, you have a very stable government, stable money supply. Then you have all these third world and countries where the monetary policies are not so mature. A good example is South Africa, right, with the M-Peso. I mean, people are already moving out of the banking system. They need to find a better way to have a medium of for exchange. Bitcoin plays into this perfectly. It's very low to set up the infrastructure in place and to have a medium for exchange. So you'll see that in a lot of the developing countries, they're looking very closely at this alt currency to, I won't say replace the currency, but as an alternative to their national currency.
One more question, last one.
So what do you think the quality that the Bitcoin have to distinct itself from other cryptocurrencies? Maybe like the Dogecoin or others?
Yeah. Okay, so the thing about Bitcoin right now is, well, it's not going to be easy to displace this. Right now, it's the most adopted and people are the most familiar with it. So let's just start with Bitcoin. It's already so hard for them to get enough traction to be aware in the media. Can you imagine something like Dogecoin or PBC coin to get to this level of awareness? It's going to take a while. So then this is what Bitcoin has today. It's already out there. There's already a wide adoption for it, and there's an infrastructure in place for it.
Excellent. Last thing, what the hell is ANX?
So,
is that like your version of Bitcoin?
So
is it the name of you and your two girls?
Yeah, ANX.
You'd be a good Korean band.
So it's like all the other companies like IBM, Internet.
You're like IBM.
Yeah, I strive.
Yeah, sure. Does he look like IBM? Yeah.
I hope.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
No, what does ANX do?
So
is it an exchange?
We used to be formerly called Nexgen. Nexgen Exchange.
Exchange for Bitcoin.
Exchange for Bitcoin.
But you don't call yourself an exchange. This is a naughty word now, right?
No.
Bad word.
Simplify.
All right. Excellent. Thank you very much. Round of applause.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, I think now we are going to move into the future. I have absolutely no idea what this guy does. All I know, before he starts, how many of you have donated your computer to academic institutions to solve a very complicated solutions or problems? Who did you donate it to? CERN?
Well, I participated in some of the cloud computing stuff back in, was it Boink or Bionic? I can never, basically SETI at home back in the day.
Yeah, SETI at home. Anybody else participated in sharing their computer?
Yes.
Excellent. So, Slicify is kind of in that space, and he's going to tell us all about his business. The difference is, if I get this right, when you share your computer, you make money out of it, which is going to appeal to people in Hong Kong, especially if you get paid in Bitcoin. How long has he got? Before the lights go out. All right, go ahead. Over to you. Sorry, this gentleman is called, I can't read, I need my glasses. Steve Cook. Steve Cook, and he's the founder and CTO of Slicify. And that word itself is just making me hungry. I'm thinking about pizza, food.
We have some crackers, so anybody, I'll just get some, yeah.
Crackers. Pass down the crackers. This is a religious experience.
All right, so I'm going to talk. I'm going to try not to pitch too much for my startup. I'm going to talk a little bit more about cloud computing in general. Just to kick things off, who here knows what cloud computing is? A few? Half? Something like that. So for the rest of you, I'll do a quick rundown of cloud computing and what it means and the impact that it will have on technology in general. Cloud computing is really a movement in technology at the moment towards providing infrastructure, software and services over the internet. This one's going to be better, yeah. So providing infrastructure, software and services over the internet in a managed, scalable, on-demand way. So what's happening is that, in the olden days when old people like me were growing up, when we used computers, we had a desktop. Laptops hadn't even been invented then. But we had a desktop and we would go and install our software on it. And then we would run that software on the desktop. That model is kind of going away now. We're all on mobile, right? Software is now, Evernote is a great example. Software is no longer something that you install and use on your machine. It's ubiquitous. You use it on your mobile, you use it on the tablet, you use it, you might still have a desktop, you use it on that. But it's really moving into a platform that you access from anywhere. So cloud computing is really about making software, services, infrastructure accessible from anywhere. And the key thing here is that it's also scalable and on demand. So anyone suggest some of the benefits to a business for using infrastructure that is scalable and on demand? Any suggestions? Not necessarily less cost, but less capital cost, right? And I'll share a little story. Many years ago, I used to work for Lehman Brothers, just before it went bankrupt. Nothing to do with me on this. I normally leave that off the CV. I worked on a derivatives pricing system that used to price their structured products. Now, these are very complex financial instruments, and in order to calculate the price, they had a bank of 200 computers, right? And all they did is they sat there all day repricing these structured products.
Isn't that what collapsed the economy?
Not structured products. We can have a chat about this afterwards. It's dodgy real estate investments. Don't have anything to do with this.
In America.
In Japan, actually. Yeah. Anyway, that's a story for another time. If you want me to come back and talk about why Lehman's went bankrupt, just let me know. What was I saying? All right. So yes, we had a bank of 200 machines. Now this was back in the boom days, and the Hank thing was going to 30,000, and we just got overwhelmed. People were buying and buying and buying stuff. So we didn't have enough space on the 200 machines to reprice all the products. So we had to go and buy another 200 machines. All right, so how much do you think a server will cost? Roughly? I'd say 3,000 US, right? Times 200, right? So now we have to go and spend, by the time we've got racks and data center space and networking equipment, whatever, we probably spend about $1 million US. To expand the capacity of our pricing engine. First off, the problem is that you can't just go and plug it in overnight. We have to go and order those machines. They take a couple of months to get delivered. So we're paying $1 million US. We're now hanging around 2 months for the machines to get delivered. They finally turned up, and then they went bankrupt. Right. So there's two big things there. So one is the capital cost. Normal people don't have $1 million lying around in their pocket just to go and buy a bunch of machines. And the second is the opportunity cost. They were waiting around for 2 months where they couldn't price things as fast as they wanted. And then when they did finally get set up, the market had completely changed and they didn't need the system anymore. So providing hardware, services, and things in a scalable, on-demand way. It brings a huge amount of benefits, and this is where the whole IT industry is going. It's quite interesting. Gartner came out with this report last year. They predict that cloud computing already is the fastest growing sector in IT. It's about $100 billion market cap at the moment. They predict that's going to double in the next 2 years. So this is really an area that a lot of software firms, a lot of technology people are looking at. There's several parts to cloud computing. As I mentioned, there's the infrastructure side. You can kind of think of that as the base layer that's just providing machines which you can access over the internet. So if I want 200 machines, fine, I can go get them right now. Right now I can turn them on in an hour. I don't need to wait for 2 months anymore. So that's the basic structure, just the infrastructure. On top of that, we have platforms. Again, a database. I don't need to go and buy a machine and go and buy an Oracle license, set it all up, and I can just go to the cloud platform and get a database. Software, there's another layer on top of that, so things like Evernote. There's software that is provided in this way. So there's a lot of different parts of the cloud ecosystem. And the one that I'm really dealing with at the moment is the bottom layer, it's the infrastructure. So infrastructure over the service is already powering the largest websites. It's probably not so popular over here, but in the US, something like Netflix is everywhere, right? Something like Pinterest, again, not so popular here, I think, but probably more popular in the US. All these guys are using cloud infrastructure on the back end. There's other uses as well. Quantitative finance, as I said, the guys that were having to go and buy 200 or 300 machines to do pricing can now just go and run them on the cloud. Right? You don't need to buy those machines anymore. You don't need that capital investment. Things like big data, scientific and engineering. So there's a ton of uses for this technology. But one big downside is the cost. Okay, I'm just making a little comparison here on the slide. So I have 3 bars here. The desktop. This is how much it costs you to rent something like an 8-core, 16 gig machine, which is like a kind of a mid-range machine. The cost of the desktop. This is if I pop down to Bangkok Computer Market, go and buy one, and then amortize it over 3 years. It's going to cost me something like 15-20 cents an hour. If I go and buy a Dell server, they're a bit more expensive, so 40 something an hour. If I go and get that same machine from Amazon Web Services, it's like double, 3 times as expensive. And I'm paying by the hour. So it's good for flexibility, because I can pay by the hour. It's not good for saving money, because it's 3 or 4 times the cost of me just going and buying the machine in the first place. So there's definitely a big challenge here. And that is where my sort of startup and the idea for my startup came in. So it's how do you address this problem of cost? Well, it seems silly at the moment. Like if you go on rent cloud computers from somewhere like Amazon or Google, they're actually going and building data centers and buying computers and putting them in. But at the same time, we all have a lot of computers that aren't really being used all the time. So the solution was really, can we reuse the existing machines that we have? Most of our machines are connected to the internet, so we can get access to them. And really the only big challenge is how do you let people run code securely on them, right? You don't want, I don't want to rent out my computer and have somebody come and install a virus on it or, start sniffing my network. So the security is the biggest challenge. But really the model is, instead of going and building new data centers full of stuff, just use the existing PCs that we already have. So I spent most of last year working on Slicify. I'm pretty much by myself. I've got a couple of people helping out part-time, but they're more on the sales side. The technology, I've done all myself. So far we've sold 160,000 hours of compute. We've had people go to our website, download our software, and set it up on their machine and start renting it out. So far we have something like 350 machines in more than 50 countries. And we did this in the last 2 months. So there's a lot of interest in this. I'm going to show you a little demo later on. Why is it that people are coming and getting involved in this? It's a market. I think similar to the Bitcoin guys, we have buyers and sellers. the sellers. You know, if you have a Windows PC and you have an internet connection, you could just go to our website, download the software, and start making money. The buyers, on the other hand, can go to Slicify and get it for a much lower cost than anywhere else. At the moment, it's a few cents. And compared to the 50, 70 cents that you'd have to pay for something like Amazon Web Services, it's a huge cost saving. You know, I think the prices will naturally go up over time as the platform develops. As I said, the paid service has only been operating for 2 months, just over 2 months. So it's still quite a small user base, but as it grows, I think the buyers will see more value and the prices will go up. So anyone's got a PC, you can go to my website, try it out. If you're a computer hacker, if you're a developer, you can go and log in and have a play around. And I'm just going to show a very quick demo. The problem with some of this stuff is it's a bit esoteric. It's not easy to show you, say, a structured pricing algorithm on it. So what I have done is I just recorded it. There's no sound, but don't worry about it. This is just like a little. Can we get it full screen? There you go. This is just a little demo that I recorded last night at home. This is actually running on the production platform. And what you have here is, I've just fired up 8 machines. So basically I go to the website, I use our API to launch 8 machines. And with those 8 machines, I have access to them. I can go and run the Linux machines, so I can go and run whatever software I like. In this case, I'm actually using a computer graphics renderer. So this is an open source renderer. So what you're seeing here is the image is starting to appear. Is parts of the same image being rendered by 8 different machines, completely different machines. They're all different specs, and they're all in different places. So they're all in different countries, but they're all working together to do a very computationally intensive problem, which is basically very high resolution ray tracing of an image. So there are loads more ways to use this kind of technology, and I think we're talking about the future, right? So I think what you'll see more in the future is, as everyone moves mobile, the processing power of a mobile device is not that high compared to a desktop. So the processing will get pushed out to these kind of cloud platforms. That means that the mobile devices can focus on the thing that they really need to focus, which is battery life, right? Who here thinks that their battery is too good for their mobile device? Anyone? Right. And part of the reason for that is because mobile devices have to balance power and performance. But if you can push all the computationally intensive stuff off to the back end, they can just focus on power. So this is I guess the way the whole world is going. For those of you, particularly MBA students here, who are looking at